Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO.
Race? It's a base race. They're marching. They're flashing. They're going to go for this one. I don't believe this. I do not believe this.
Only aim for perfection. Ain't no half stepping. I'm gonna take you back. Spitting facts, you gotta live with that. Who got it? Who won it? No problem. We mobbing in the city. Do or die, it's either all or nothing. Best believe I'm leaving out with something. Anytime I got the crowd jumping, throwing rings, you know they fierce.
Just evaporated. Goodo locking them all in place, linking up with LeeSA. That's an ace.
Good afternoon, LCO fans and fanettes out there. How you all doing? It's LCO delivered by Menulog again. We're back for week 2 and we got a whole bunch of fun for all of you guys at home. Now, I'm Mac, this is Kitty, and we got, what did we agree on? Rummy over on the couch there.
Rummy. It's the best one I could come up with.
I had other minds, other thoughts running through my mind, and I'm glad they did not come out. So we'll leave it at Rummy.
Leave it at Rummy? Sounds
Sure.
good. How's this long weekend going for everyone? Did we get up to some fun, over the last couple of days? I know, Rusty, you said you're in the city, and you found a house, right? That's good news.
Yeah, so I moved. I found a place within 7 days, relocated my entire life in 7 days, so stress is done.
Unreal.
Can focus on League of Legends now. Even went to the gym with you.
We did.
True.
We did. And look, if you follow us over on the Twitch sphere, you might have seen some of that. We didn't actually post anything, but, sell
You
out.
might
That's
next
me.
time.
Why not?
Kitty, what did you
Might
get up
next
to on
time.
your weekend?
I changed my hair. Can you guys tell?
Yes.
Apparently people can't tell this is brown, but trust me, it's brown.
Wasn't
Sauce,
it was
trust
red
me,
before,
bro.
right?
There's no red, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it was
red
red.
before.
Last week. So that's gone. That's definitely died. I can confirm. Look, I'm here. I'm looking.
Not red.
It's not red. No, I am not colorblind, so I got that out of the way. Now, look, we've got a few things to get through, of course. We had a lot of fun last week, and there was a lot of big games as well. So let's have a quick look back at what went down last week. On that second day, on that Tuesday, there were no upsets, but there were a couple of comebacks. Does everyone remember what happened? If you don't, look, we got the replays here to have a quick look at, Skimmy.
Yeah, that was a really nice play, right? The fact that LeeSA just jumped in and went hello with the kick. I mean, it was just fantastic, right? A bit of a highlight reel for him to sort of showcase that they are a very mechanically driven team up against Kanga, who have certainly, despite their roster woes, have impressed.
They certainly have. Now, Kitty, any takes on this game and what we kind of want to see from both these teams coming into the new week?
The MVP was given to, I believe, it was Thien on the game. Wait, this is a different game. This is the...
It's a montage.
Oh, it's a montage. Well, I gave... we gave MVP to Thien, and Rusty said and expressed that LeeSA was very robbed because of that Lucian play from the Raptor camp. And I feel pretty bad because I think LeeSA's actually been stepping up in his recent performance for Split 2.
Yeah, he really has. And look, Thien got bullied last week, so it was kind of like, little sympathy MVP maybe. So we'll try to give either more or less of those, depending on how he continues to play going on into the new weeks. They do have a couple of big games coming up, not only today, but also tomorrow. So hopefully they can try to show us a little bit more for Peace specifically. Another couple of games there as well. Chiefs really getting that revenge over Order. That was a big game. We were expecting to be a lot bigger. I was, listening to what was going on in the community, and they reckon that, Order definitely could have had a stronger early game, but it just didn't really play out that way. So, we'll see if Order can sort of tighten things up going into the new week. Anything we want to really touch on? Let's bring up the standings, have a look at that while we continue this conversation. First off, look, we do have Peace, PGG, and Chiefs all at the top right now. Direwolves and Order tied for 4th, and then 6th place, all Gravitas, Mammoth, and Kanga on 0-2. But looks can be deceiving because we've really enjoyed what we've seen from Kanga so far, right? And they are very far down that list at the moment, Rusty.
Yeah, and we've also acknowledged that entire week that they have roster swaps likely in the mix, right? Like, we never expected that to be their completed roster with 3 ADCs. Playing in the same game, they still managed to take it to every team they did eventually lose to. Peace also being 2-0 feels disingenuous having them above PGG and the Chiefs, right? When you compare how good the 2-0s were from both of those teams, where Peace were pushed every single time in legitimately losable games. So they clutch it, but barely.
I want to see if the Chiefs can do it even faster this week. They were going for those speed runs. Now, let's have a look at the games we're going to be watching here on the stream for the LCO Week 2 Day 1. First match of the day, there you have it. Mammoth and Peace will be, what you get to feast your eyes upon. Second game, Order and PGG, followed by Kanga up against Direwolves. And then the final game of the night, Gravitas against the Chiefs, which on paper looks very much like a bit of a walloping there, Skimmy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, certainly. Chiefs come out the gate swinging, and I don't think they're going to show any signs of slowing down, especially after they took the quickest victory in 22 minutes up against the MSI champions in Order. Speaking of, I'm thinking probably them up against PGG is a bit of a banger. Not to be outdone by Kanga taking on Direwolves, that game that we've sort of highlighted, I guess, is the battle for 5th spot. I'm really excited to see those two games during the middle of the park as to sort of bit of a form check more than anything. Yeah,
it's definitely drawing a lot of eyes from the couch here at least. Kitty, which one are you sort of focusing on? Do you want to see how Peace perform up against Mammoth, see if they can do a little bit better than what we saw from them last week, early game?
Hopefully Peace does have a form check for this match against Mammoth, but my eyes are also on Kanga versus Dials because Dials kind of the gatekeeper for that 5th spot for playoffs, and Kanga, they have proven themselves that they can be better players and a better team with new players coming onto the roster as well, so maybe we will get a different Kanga up against Dials today.
Okay, well, fortunately, we're talking about these good teams looking really good, but that may have something to do with the meta, where it currently stands. We've had this conversation about why there's less upsets happening at the moment and how just, playing for scaling Rusty sort of works.
I mean, I think the game's set up in a very interesting way in terms of like overall meta now, where like what you're saying is true, right? The teams that are better are just going to be winning more. And it's weird because we're at a point in League where there is the most comeback mechanics that have ever existed in the game, but it's about how you actually play the game. So when the game is longer, usually there's less moments to actually make comebacks, right? There's just going to be less fights. If there are fights, they're smaller, which means usually you'll be trading a small amount down.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to get like a full turret in a trade. It's going to be like a 1-for-1 skirmish perhaps, or a 2-for-1. And then when the fights do happen, it's explosive, it's big, it's 5 versus 5. So there is no way to trade. And with that in mind, you just can't come back. Like you just can't come back the way that you usually would be able to. So what you want if you're a worse team is more like middle ground action. You want lots of like high intensity skirmishes, not small little ones.
Okay, Kitty, you want to have your say on this one?
Me and Tim were discussing this on our meeting. Well, it was because we found out that these bottom teams were struggling in the current meta due to the meta not favoring them, because early game champions can't be played anymore. Even if you don't do well in the early game, you just get taken advantage of in the late game because of those scaling champions. And if we look back to Split 1, where we've seen so many upsets from those teams, it's because they had an early game focused comp where they were able to get ahead in the early game. But if you're not able to get ahead in the early game right now, where champions like, I'm just from the top of my head, Pantheon, it sucks.
Yeah,
you can't get ahead.
Yeah, and now there's Cogmores on the other side that you have to deal with.
If you can't do anything before 15 minutes, you're...
But that is the catch-22, right? The fact is we have seen some of these lower-tier teams like try to invest in like a Cogmore or a Sivir or a Vayne, right? And they need more than 2 items to really start to flourish, right? So the game's done at 26 minutes and you're thinking, oh, sure, we got scaling, sure, we got a great comp, but you need 3 or 4 items before you can really come online, by which point you might be down, say, 10 to 15k gold. So it's a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, you're sort of just really waiting for those power sparks, hoping the game lasts long enough that you can get to that point. Now, let's have a quick chat about what we think is going to be the match of the week. And unfortunately for you guys, it's not on today, but it just means that there's more League on tomorrow on the LCO. That match, of course, is the Chiefs up against Pentanet. Both these teams performing really well so far in the LCO. That's going to be on tomorrow, Tuesday, June 14th at 6 p.m. AEST. So first game of the day, make sure you're here. Make sure you don't miss it. I know we are all very, very excited to see how that one goes, Skimmy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was the game that gave us all 5 in that beautiful playoffs run that was really about anything possible. We're thinking Chiefs were the front runners, the go-to winners. They have a game like that. Pentanet thinking no drama, we'll just run it through the lower bracket, and Order came along and just completely upset the narrative, right? So really excited to see what they look like once again, now that we know that they're scrimming each other, especially. Pradev mentioned that in his last interview. So a lot more insight, right? Whereas before they didn't. They were literally finding out each other on the fly in a best of 5. So exciting times ahead.
Yeah, we'll see what that one looks like. Now, let's have a quick look at a couple of the meta champs we might have not spoken about last week. And 2 in particular are Kayle and Nautilus. We're seeing these picked a fair amount at the moment. Rusty,
yes.
You want to tell me why?
Yeah, so Kayle is currently 10-4 globally. I believe he's 4-2 in the LPL. Just for some context here as well, the LPL is the only major region that's actually started playing it right now. So
Okay.
just in general, my sample size is all of the minor regions and the LPL that I've been looking at. So
Yeah.
Kayle was a big one. Is doing incredibly well. It makes sense with weaker early games almost across the board. Slower pace early games that a scaling champion just exists. If Kog'Maw can exist as an AD, why can't Kayle exist as a top laner? That's really the biggest champion that I think, based off last week, we did very well in saying a lot of different champions. I think Kayle's the one that we missed.
Okay.
Nautilus is on this list not because we didn't speak about it. We spoke about it a lot. It is still being picked. I think it's got like a 40% global pick rate still. But the biggest enabling factor, particularly in the LPL, is Kalista. So one of the reasons that not just Nautilus, but Leona, Rel, etc. are still being played is because Kalista exists. And if Kalista's good, engaged champions are better because they will get saved if they make a mistake.
Okay.
Where in this meta, they usually would just instantly die to the Kog'Maw if they mess up.
So we saw Kalista picked once last week. And
Yeah.
it worked, from what I remember.
Puma's smashed.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Max playing
Puma
Puma.
angry, Puma smash.
Max playing free.
That's right.
I would expect
Smithing.
more Kalista, definitely.
Okay, well, let's see if that one, evolves well going into week 2 here on the LCO. But speaking of evolving, we're evolving up that content. And again, you guys at home get to witness some greatness here in the LCO Champion Conundrum.
Is today the day luck's with you? Is it now your life could read you? Then you must play the game, cause I have to proclaim life's a game of chance.
Oh, here, you dropped this, King. Just going to throw these on. We all got our little crowns ready. Today, we are going to be playing a little bit of Celebrity Heads. And we're going to be focusing, the answers are going to be, players in League of Legends. We're not 100% sure if they're international or domestic. All the answers have been hidden on the table just there. But we're going to start, of course, with Rusty over on, the right of screen. We're not going to be able to see ourselves on the screen, so there's going to be no cheating enabled. And we all have 60 seconds, unlimited questions to try to figure out who or what we are.
Yes.
And, it is definitely who.
It should be a who.
We know it's going to be players.
It's a who.
Bit of
Or
a rehearsal.
maybe we don't know it's going to be players. Who knows? Anyway, Skimmy, could you please do the honors? Grab one of the cards and don't show Rusty.
Right,
Place
mate.
it in his beautiful pink crown. There we go. Oh,
Ooh.
hello.
Okay.
Okay.
Show
Hey.
chat. Make sure that they can see what we're doing.
I assume you can see. I
They
can't
can see
see
it?
what you could see.
Fantastic.
TV's off.
Well,
right.
okay, you've
We are
got
ready to go.
60 seconds, Rusty. 3, 2, 1, ask away.
Am I currently in the LCO?
Yes.
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 Am I in a top 4 team?
Yes.
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 Am I in a super team?
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, yes.
Yes.
Am I in order?
Yes.
Yes.
So
really
that was
narrowed
so
that one
easy
down.
from your answer. Am I an active starting player?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm not maximized.
No.
No.
Am I on the top or bottom half? I'm on the bottom. Am I on the bottom half of the
Yes.
map?
Yes.
Am I Puma?
No.
No.
Am I Corporal?
Yes.
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 Wait, that was such a speed run.
That was real good. Well, that's what we did. We had a practice run earlier, and that was with just random.
It's legit what
Things
I
and
said.
objects.
Is
That
it
went a lot
Is
better.
it a super team? And all 3 of you went, yes?
Yeah.
I was like, that's obviously order because the other 2 are super teams.
There you go. So tone of the answers is definitely important. Skimmy, you can learn from that one. Quickly, before you get Rusty to put yours in, your crown's upside down.
Is it upside down?
It's got a little smiley face,
Have we
but it
had an
needs to be a
absolute
frowny
mare?
face.
Well,
Yeah, you did have
we're
that
doing it on
upside
live TV.
There we go. Beautiful. That's what we love to see.
Beautiful.
Rusty, could you please?
Do you want to grab me?
Do you want me to
the
lean
card?
over? Look, mate. I don't want
Don't
to
look,
stretch.
don't look, don't look. Beautiful. You didn't cheat.
Okay.
All right, beautiful. Oh.
Oh.
Do you want to hold it?
Wobblehead.
Wobblehead.
Mr. Potato.
Yeah, it's a little tight there. Yep. Beautiful. All right.
Fantastic.
That's a banger.
And it's
Can they see?
all
Fantastic.
sorted.
That's so
you
good.
guys can see. We can all see. Skimmy, you've got 60 seconds. Shoot.
Am I on a top 4 team?
No.
No.
That was really out of the gates. No.
No? Okay. Am I Kanga?
No.
No.
No, you're not the...
Am I
or-
in Kangaroo Sports? Am I in Gravitas?
No.
Am I in Mammoth? Am I in Direwolves?
No, you've named them
Wait,
all.
slower,
Slow down.
slower, slower.
I need some
Answer.
yeses. Work at my pace.
No and no. No.
Am
No,
I?
you were correct on one of those.
Am I in
Oh.
Kanga?
No.
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 Am I in Mammoth?
No.
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 Am I in Gravitas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Am I a new player?
No.
No.
Am I a starting player?
Yes.
Yes.
Did I play every game last split?
No.
No.
No. Am I an off-roll player?
No.
No.
No. Am I in the top lane?
No.
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 Man, they have 15 billion players. Am I in bot lane?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I Thomas Shen?
No.
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 Am I Piglet?
Yes. He did it.
That was the longest possible path.
Oh
You
my
can't
gosh.
ask 3 questions without an answer and keep going.
I'm just going. I am going,
He
bro.
doesn't get an answer. He's just like, am I Mammoth? Am I Gravitas? Am I Kayle?
I'm so conscious of the time I am speed running.
Well, you got it.
LeeSA cosplay time now.
I think, Rusty, you're a little bit faster, but that's pretty good. Kitty, it's your turn.
Do we know our time?
All right, you've got 60
think
seconds.
I had 6 seconds left.
Ooh,
6 seconds, damn.
Yeah.
set you up.
Not bad.
Get that in there.
I think you were like 20 or 30.
Oh, okay.
You were
That's
pretty good.
straight.
You
I
were
got a
pretty good.
pretty good one.
All right. Well, Kitty, you've
Ooh,
got
okay.
60 seconds. Okay. Shoot.
Am I an active player?
Yes.
Am I in bot?
Yes.
All
the bot lane players.
Am I in a top 4 team?
No.
No.
Am I on Kenga?
Yes.
Am I Limas?
No.
No.
Am I Lionel?
Yes.
Yes.
You are.
That was quick.
Yeah. Yeah, that was extreme.
I literally made a
well
pog
done.
face when I heard, am I a bot laner?
I love how she opens that, am I a bot lane? It's just like, yeah, name them all.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Rusty gave me a look when it was like, is he an active
Yeah,
player? But he
true.
played last week.
True.
You know, that's what I was going on. I saw him last
True.
week. I saw him playing last week. Saw his play came there.
No spoilers.
All right,
yeah.
Kitty, could you please do the honors?
Yes.
Set me up with a...
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
I
a
love
good
good
one.
ones.
I
All right,
also love
well,
good
I've got 60 seconds. Am I in the LCO?
Yes.
Have we started? Yeah, we do.
Well,
Yeah.
yep.
Yes.
Am I in a top 14?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I in Chiefs?
No.
Am I in Order?
No.
No.
Am I in Pentanet?
No.
Yeah, it's a tester. Who's the
the
fourth
other
Am I
team?
in Peace?
Yes.
Am I Violet?
No.
No.
Am I LeeSA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, beautiful.
Ah,
40 seconds.
yeah.
I had a brain fart.
Smurfing. So
I
good.
was like,
The other top team.
Peace finished.
I got it though.
Just did piece so dirty. Hey?
That was still real quick.
That was quick.
Yeah. Those dials were fifth. Never mind.
They were fourth.
Yeah.
Peace have been top 4
Yeah,
every
yeah.
split so far.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Very good, very good. Well, do you want to keep these on or move on?
Let me move on.
Laura, do we have time to do any more? I see more cards there. Okay, we've got time for one more. Who wants it?
Who wants to do it?
I don't really.
I'll do it
Kitty?
again. Shall I do the
A
honors?
skimmy? Skimmy up. All right, beautiful.
Take
It
your
was a
model.
fun one to answer.
I took the longest last time. This is punishment.
Yep.
I feel like we got
What
our,
is that
Yeah,
smirk?
I got that much.
we've got our
faster
line of
than I
questioning down
expected.
pat.
Where's he smirk?
Okay.
Well, this is going to be fun. All right, ready? 60 seconds. Go.
Yes. Am I in a top 4 team?
No.
No.
No. Am I in Gravitas?
No.
Am I in Mammoth?
No.
Am I in Kanga?
No.
Am I in the Direwolves?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I a new player?
Yes.
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 Am I in the bot lane?
No.
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 Am I in top lane? Wait, no,
No.
it wouldn't be top lane.
No.
Am I in jungle?
Yes.
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 Jungle.
It's like a name test, isn't it? It's not a.
Is it Poltron?
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, is it a new player? It is
Yeah,
a new
'cause
player.
he's a
but
new
like,
player.
It's a coach,
Yeah.
but like,
I've heard his voice before.
yes. Does he play Shaco? Yes.
Yeah.
Poltron.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Winner.
Well,
Chicken dinner.
Skimmy,
the
you won
reason I
today
have a
because
tattoo.
you won twice.
Yes.
I think, did Kitty go fastest?
I don't think so. I think you were pretty fast.
Huh, I'll take that.
I don't
Got
know.
the team name too. Beautiful. Anyway, look, let's
Beautiful.
move on from the LCO Champ Conundrum. You can keep your crowns on if you want. I think I will, at least until, you know, the
I'm
game
color
starts.
matched, so it's fine.
But before we jump on into talking about the games,
So
talking
deep.
about that first game though, we do, of course, have the From the Fans to
That
have a
really
quick
hurt.
look at as well. So
Yeah,
you
you more
guys at
than me.
home today, we have asked, you know, this patch is a little bit crazy. So what is your 12-10 tech? It's 12-11 at the moment, so look, we'll be a little lenient if you do want to post your little tech in 12-11, maybe talk about Belveth or something. We'll allow that over at LCO on the Twitter sphere. Get the questions in. There'll be a post somewhere that you can do the questions on, or just tag us as well. Now, we do have one post to have a quick look at. You guys have been lazy not giving us the content this time, and we got Cree picks. What is it? That nerf on Grievous Wounds made Soraka a healing machine. Did it though? Did it though,
Thoughts?
Rusty? Because we saw a little bit of Gunkrab Soraka last week, and that didn't go too well.
I don't know how nerfing Grievous Wounds makes Soraka a healing machine. Doesn't that do the opposite?
Nerfing Grievous
Well,
Wounds.
it allows you
means
Oh,
to
the
heal
nerf on
more.
Grievous Wounds. Sorry, yeah, they also
Yes.
nerf healing.
Yeah, true.
I'm just trying to work out where this one... I think Soraka's good, because
But-
enchanters are good.
Yeah.
To be fair, Soraka's ult take gets rid of Grievous Wounds.
True.
So
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh, there
does.
you go.
Cleanses it,
I
yeah.
haven't played Soraka before, so
When you
still
change.
Soraka is
getting
good. They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
Maybe
There you
we'll
go.
see
So
more.
Peace is looking pretty good at the moment as well. First game, of course, going to be Peace up against Mammoth. So let's have a look at Peace first. See who's going to be playing today. Who's going to be in the Rift for him? It's Thien, LeeSA, Apii, Violet, and Gunkrab. Same lineup as last week. And look, we're hoping to see a little more from them, aren't we, Skimmy? Because they had a rough start to the LCO split 2 affairs.
They really did. I mean, Thien certainly found himself not much love in the top lane. Blue side wants to be the carry, got counterpicked every single time, and lost lane but won the game. So happy days for him. I guess we want to see a little bit more from LeeSA and Apii. We know how explosive they can be together. They can really run the Rift together on their own. But it felt very much so that in games 1 and 2, even though they cheated their way into a win, right, every single time it got to like a 30-minute mark, the game flipped. They just had that comprehension and understanding of how to win out a late game team fight. It's a little bit disconcerting, though, when you are really relying on the Violet show, right? He's come back, no doubt. He is an insanely good player. But in both of those games, he was farming at close to 12 CS per minute. So he was really putting... they were all putting their eggs into the Violet basket and saying, please carry us. And essentially, that's what happened.
Okay, Kitty, any thoughts on Peace, what you want to see from them, who we need to see more from going into this week? You know, they're up against Mammoth. It, on paper, you know, expectations, power rankings, etc., should be a Peace game. But what do we want to see more from them?
I want to see a more stable game coming out of Peace because I think the place where they struggle the most is that early game because they already have that late game. I'm stuttering a lot, but that's okay because it is Monday and I'm allowed to stutter, okay? Please let me go.
That's all right.
But
Stutter as much as you want.
thank you, Mac.
No
But late game insurance with the Gangplank and Cogmore and Jinx, they already have a win con, which they play to, which is the Violet hype train. But I
Okay.
do want to see a more stable early game because you can't be losing those early fights to those lower teams. You know what I mean?
Well, what I want to see is who Mammoth are going to be playing with today in this matchup. Let's have a look at their lineup and see who it is. Oh, who's that up top? Who's that down bot? What's going on here, Rusty?
So, as far as I know, this is the intended starting roster from Mammoth for this split. Week 1 was kind of like a mulligan for a lot of teams where they didn't really have starting rosters. I think that was true for like 3 teams. And this is Mammoth's iteration on what they had in Split 1. So we always knew Voice was, I would say, the hero of the team, the carry of the team. We know that Reufury is always kind of like that second carry potential player. And Meifan does like to play towards his lanes. Papryze is an OG player who I will say, in terms of like historical results, has never really gone... I don't even know if he's made playoffs. But he has been a consistent top lane player that was of a pro level standard for many years. And so it is a good addition to this roster because that stability will do wonders for them. It can be a carry, it can be a tank. I think there's a lot to look forward to with him. And Ali G's got like that young mechanics max support that'll integrate really nicely with, you know, experienced top.
Okay, well, I have heard that you've dubbed this top laner, dubbed Papryze, the gatekeeper of the top lane. So how's this going to... Is it going to go well? You know, he's up against Thien, and we know that he is a very solid top laner. He had a bit of a rough job last week, but I guess in the top lane matchup, what are we sort of expecting these two head-to-head?
I mean this with all respect to Papryze, but he's a gatekeeper for playoffs. Because he sits at the cusp of playoffs, and if you want to make it, you have to be better than him. That's why he's a gatekeeper. It's not in the same way that he's like... I don't know what else he would possibly be gatekeeping, because he just does sit at 6. But Thien has been targeted very heavily, and you would really want to see something different from him. You want to see a spark from Thien. Perhaps red side where he doesn't get T-mode. Would be a good start.
Okay, well, look, Peace have been playing these late game comps, Kitty. Are we expecting them to do the same today, or do we sort of think they're going to change something up?
If they don't change it up now, they don't have a chance against the better teams, which is Chiefs, Order, and PDG, because they're a lot less forgiving compared to these lower bracket teams. Because these not lower brackets, sorry, these lower teams, because they're not perfect on their macro game just quite yet, so they are the forgiving teams. And if you don't perfect your early game now, then I don't know when you'll get the chance to do it later on in the split.
Okay, what about you, Skimmy? Any thoughts on what we're going to see from Peace? Are they going to keep doing the same thing, playing for the late game, because it seems to sort of just be a fallback?
Possibly. I think Violet is always going to be that great insurance policy, but you can't really completely rely on him just being the star of the show. I'm sure he really wants to see the rest of his team rise up. I mean, there's certainly the caliber of players there with them. They've got all this years of experience in previous rosters over the years as well. So I think, yeah, definitely looking at top lane, Thien on red side would be absolutely perfect. But for Papryze, curious to see what champion pool he goes for, right? Because if you look at Mammoth traditionally, they've always had those like strong, stable, you say weak side Titans, right? Where they're playing the, the Orns or the Aatrox or the Gragas or whatever it may be at that moment. Said, you'll just farm it up, you'll keep us in check. Come team fight, we know exactly what your role is going to be. He can play the carries, right? We've heard about him playing like the Camilles and the Aatroxes and whatnot. So certainly an option, but I'm not sure if that's the version that Mammoth want him employed as.
Okay. Hey, Kitty, do you think I'd look good with a mullet?
I think you look good with anything, Matt.
That's so nice. Well, I know someone that does look good with a mullet. We have LeeSA on the phone for the pre-match interview. LeeSA, how are you feeling today?
Pretty good.
Yeah, very good.
Very good indeed. And we are entering week 2. So after your performance from last week, how would the team and how would the boys reflect on your performance?
I would say we're just like slowly getting started. Just like for the first week, something happened. We got team mode, and you say just the week 1,
Getting team mode.
Getting team mode, it's not what you want to do. Now, look, it's been pretty cold lately, and I'm sure, as you're well aware, it is Worldwide Knit in Public Day. So what I want to know from you is, who would you knit a jumper for on your team?
It's Apii.
Apii.
Must be Apii.
You didn't even think about that one. That was beautiful.
Well, talking about Apii and Violet coming back onto the roster, how has the team identity actually changed around this Changed around this alteration?
We're not like changing like that much. Like last bit we got Cheon, who's like also a beast on 80, and now we got Violet, another beast. So we just gotta let Violet carry the game. But unlike Romeo, he's gotta play some tanks.
Okay, sounds like a pretty solid strat there. Now, look, before we let you go, I want to know, have you been looking at TikTok? Have you found any more crazy strats that you have up your sleeve for later on in the split?
I'm gonna show you something today.
Oh!
And also next week, if I get to play the new champ, it will be something.
Oh, okay.
Also, LeeSA, do you think Mac would look nice with a mullet?
For sure, Mac.
Beautiful.
I hope I get to see you at the finals.
All right, well, look, I'll check with the missus and try to get it okay first. But that's the first step. Look, we'll let you go. Get ready for the game, and good luck today, LeeSA.
Thank you.
See you later, brother. Now, look, that's it. LeeSA, feeling pretty good, and does have some more cheeky strats up his sleeve, which bit of a revelation. I thought it was just going to be a bit of a joke question, but it worked out. We got some extra info there, Rusty.
I didn't think he'd want to play Belveth in competitive at all from what I've seen so far.
Wait, really?
A bit meh.
Meh?
Ooh,
Yeah.
bit meh.
I have to do my research in advance now.
100% win rate, that's all I'm saying. It's a pretty good champ. Now, look, let's talk about you guys. Get your Twitch points in for the Dare fan vote. Let us know how you think this game is going to go. Is it going to be Peace? Is it going to be Mammoth taking the W, taking the cake? And who's going to be taking all the Twitch points? Because I'm sure there's going to be lots on Mammoth, lots on Peace here. And then you can, yell at each other in Twitch chat and be fans, do fan things. Now, let's see how we think this game is going to turn out. I dare say we're all going for Peace here. Looks like we're all keeping it clean, copying each other's homework, and expecting maybe a late game resurgence or something cleaner this week, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't think our tips will change up until maybe game 2 today and then games 1 and 3 tomorrow. It's probably the things that I'm looking forward to. I would expect clean from Peace, but what I just also got from that interview is that no matter what, they've got Violet. And I think they're happy knowing that if all else fails, they've got Violet.
Yeah.
And I think that's enough in this game.
Man's good mechanically, macro-wise. He just always knows exactly what he's doing. And he's got all that overseas experience now. Went over there, played a whole lot. I've gone for Peace as well. I really would like to see Mammoth starting their upset train nice and early, but I just don't think it's going to happen today. I feel like Peace, after a bit of a rough week last week, are going to bounce back hard. Kitty, thoughts?
I mean, to be fair, we do have LEG coming onto the roster for week 2. And seeing Gunkrab's performance from last week, it wasn't the most, what would you say? It wasn't the most stable performance coming out of Gunkrab with the Soraka, and I believe it was...
Tom Kench.
Tom Kench was a little better. But Ali G, being the young talent he is, and I know he has a diverse champion pool, he could do a little bit of upsetting in that bot lane.
Yeah, I've seen his most played in solo queues Pyke, so I'm pretty excited about that one, right? Certainly
Pyke
someone that can like
player.
stir into the mix and kill all these Enchanter supports, right? Get all the resets for the ultimate. Yeah, I think this game, I feel like from what we've seen from both these teams so far, they've both heavily invested, both in Voice and Violet, 2 hyperscaling champions, and just pray that one of them pops off harder. Difference being that Peace's games have gone the late distance where Violet can pop off and realize the potential of a hyperscaler, whereas the Mammoth games have been very quick, like sub 24 minutes, 2 items, you're crying, right? That's when you're really looking at like a Lucian or an Ezreal or some kind of champion where like 2 items, it's my best life. But that is the contradicting opinion, right? Is because you could have a strong early game, could be a mid game, one team fight, you lose, and the game's over. So really interesting to see how Mammoth approach this.
Well, what we saw a lot from Peace, at least, you know, over last year, over the first split, is they try to copy sort of LPL comps a lot. Now that you did say, Rusty, LPL has started up again, are we going to expect to see them trying to sort of copy some of the better teams?
Based off that interview, no, because
No Kayle.
it's tanks for top lane. There's no Kayle. It's going to be a Sion versus Ornn top lane for game 1. Lock it in. It's going to be a bunch of fun for Papryze and Thien up there just doing nothing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Are we
wait.
going to see... Well, LeeSA said he's going to play something spicy. So I really liked seeing him on LeeSA, and he was absolutely cracked with it last week. But kind of sad, not expecting that. What would he pick that could be a crazy strat here?
Do you think Gwen jungle can happen?
I think it can. I mean, it's so much more likely that Gwen's just banned in general
Banned?
now, right, than it is picked. But, like, you could probably flex it.
Ooh, well, look, I'm going to go flex in the mirror out back. But for now, it is time to jump on into Champ Select. It's game 1 for week 2. Let's get into it.
Let's do that. Let's figure out how week 2 starts off here. As we've already had week 1 done and dusted, and that means that we know exactly what to look forward to. It's a chance for these 2 teams to pop off for another round robin. It's a chance really to sort of see what those bans look like. And as far as things went last week, right, where we saw a lot of those 100% presence, same again.
Yeah, I think one thing that we're starting to see a bit of a difference in is understanding how bottom lanes work. One thing that I did note is that Kog'Maw's been banned, I think, 4 times in the LCO in week 1, but it's just not banned anywhere else.
Sure.
Right? Like, it's just it's a reality that, like, Lucian is really the only ADC that I have seen banned.
Yep.
But that's actually going to be the first pick here by Mammoth, so they're going to get that. Olaf is an interesting ban for me. I low-key think that Olaf is busted. I think Olaf with Enchanters is really good right now, and I also think that's flexible between top and jungle.
Absolutely.
So,
back in my day, maybe a few years
was
ago,
that?
you know, maybe a few years ago, not as long as you're
You had
back
a
in your
league
day.
day?
You know, we had like Yuumi Olaf, we had Lulu Olaf, right? Obviously, you've got the protection of your hyperscaler in the bot lane, but at least for the mid and early portions, right, you had that Olaf to, you know, roam the map with. So excited to see if that is going to start to come more out to play, but it's great to see, right, that the Lucian is being locked in here for Mammoth, right? They're basically saying we need some early source of strength if it's going to be the Nami pairing, which is the most common. Awesome, but for Peace, GP first rotation.
yeah, they're actually going to get the Gangplank. So looking now at what their response is going to be to the Lucian, presumably with a Nami, Aphelios is a curious one. It might just be like a Lulu that goes with it, something that can have a really strong laning phase. Could also be the Karma, I suppose. But on the flip side here, looking at what Mammoth are going to go for, it does scream early aggression to me, right, by going for the Lucian. They do want to get a lead early. I think this is the logical choice when you are the underdog in a matchup. Is you want to make those early leads as best you can. Yes, you can have scaling in a comp. You can usually have it in one of your lanes, but you want to have winning lanes early to play towards. And I feel like overall, 3 picks in here, Skimmy, there's been absolutely 0 surprises other than perhaps the priority on Aphelios, because I don't think that it'd ever get banned.
Absolutely not, right? From Mammoth, it's exactly what we want from them, right? We want them to really come out the gate swinging early game, big leads, mid game, up, say, 7k goal, and you're sitting pretty, right? You're feeling pretty good about your chances before Peace really start to come online with a Lulu Enchanter to buff up the likes of a GP and an Aphelios, which we know can put in work. We've seen it already happen for Peace in those games where it has gone the distance. I think what I'm really liking about Mammoth so far is it looks almost a little bit similar to how, you know, Pensnet have opened up their accounts here, right? They've played Lucian Nami both times. They've had an Ornn in the top lane for a little bit of that scaling, right? Could see the same. Papryze comfort zone.
Yeah, and he's got the Gangplank matchup, so it could really be anything. I mean, we've seen Urgots that play into Gangplank because you can use the W to stop the kegs. It does kind of make the lane more interactive for you.
Yep.
And you've also got a shield for like the occasional Q proc, but it isn't the easiest of matchups. Regardless, we'll see where Papryze chooses to go because he does still have those options. Camille's like the meta, I guess, version of the Urgot because you can double tap with Q, get your Q1 proc off, have the true damage if you want to hook shot in. Nevertheless, we are seeing, I want to say, pretty standard scaling mid laners are getting banned in 4-5 here in the LCO, where on the opposite side for Mammoth, they've gone for the Swain ban. I know that Peace would be able to play this one. We've seen a bit of Swain mid, so I'm very excited to see it, hopefully, instead of it being banned, to talk about it.
Seen some pretty cool builds of it as well.
And the Sylas ban is always, in my mind, just because I'm clouded by the LCO, is like a Zillion indicator or like an Alistar, right? One of those champions that you don't want the Sylas to exist against. It could actually be an Ahri if Reufury's not confident playing into the Sylas. We'll see.
All eyes now go towards mid lane for Apii to see what he can find to try and truly come online, hold the phone far out. Kayle is here, so that is that scaling pick in the top lane. There is that chance to say we're all in for that play to take place. Certainly now a lot of emphasis on the Lucian army popping off, but the Viego being very active in those skirmishes to get those resets, to get that strength, and for them to lock in a Lissandra as this last pick. A big deterrent, no doubt, to try and prevent Apii going for this LeBlanc, which has been his go-to.
And I can see the Sylas ban into a Kayle and Lissandra picks, right? That's a pretty nice ban from the side of Mammoth. It's interesting because their comp works in a lot of ways. Peace are very standard, it feels like, right? They're going to be playing a front to back, especially if this is locked in. Oof. It's just going to be a tank in mid. This is very MSI almost, right? You've got Xiaohu now on Peace's side. No surprises when they're LPL inspired.
Sure.
And they've definitely got, like, at least in Galio, combo isn't guaranteed but can work really nicely. But the Galio can also protect against the Lissandra combo. If Lissandra engages and then you use Galio ult, you give everyone a spell shield, almost nullifies the ult damage out of her. And so you're able to play really nicely in a defensive kite back style if that's what you want. But you are now looking at a win condition in top lane for Mammoth that will outscale almost everything on the map in a one-on-one. Still some tools exist to take it down, but what I will say, Skimmy, while we're looking at it, very limited crowd control to actually stop the Kayle. There is a kick, there is a taunt, and there is a polymorph, but it's not a guaranteed stun or anything that will take place. It's not going to be that easy.
And it does beg the question then, where we're going to see the jungle proximity really shine, right? Is it going to be in that bot lane to try and get the Lucian army ahead nice and early? Is it going to be a lot of protection played towards Papryze's lane, right? To ensure that, of these two insanely good scaling top lane champions, that Papryze can hold his own. Obviously very vulnerable until those breakpoints, 6, 11, 16, when the wings come online, the attack range is there. And the ability to basically become exalted, ascended, and an absolute demon on the rift to try and contend with. Certainly a lot of question marks to discuss as we go into this one, but I mean, I feel like we've got exactly what we want, right? When they are such polar opposites in terms of their rankings, in terms of their history, and at least the last 2 years, Mammoth coming out the gate saying, we need to win early, and we've got a lot of good tools to try and find those moments around the Herald, around the Drake.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of mid lane movement. There's going to be a lot of priority forced in the bottom lane potentially here as well, and that means that Meifan can get active around the map. And I do think that we will be seeing an ebb and flow of aggression from Mammoth. As long as Papryze is protected, I think they're happy, but they still want to generate those early leads just because of the team matchup that we're facing. Peace on the other side, I will say extremely content for the most part of just getting LeeSA and Apii moving around the map, get the mid jungle to hold hands and gank side lanes, but otherwise, farm it out.
Farm it out indeed. Apii's first game at the Galio this year, a big deviant away from what has been his go-to with the Ahris, the LeBlancs and the Rises, but it is still a global champion which could have a lot of impact in this game. So let's crack on into this one, and as we do, let's speak to the man in the machine, the man known as Midlord. Midlord, welcome. Welcome back.
Hi.
I have to ask, I mean, it's a 2-0 record. It looks great, but there were some very stressful wins. So what were you and the team really working on this week?
Yeah, like our boys just worked very hard and they just... But unfortunately, 2 of them is sick. So it's hard to say about this game, but I hope they can do well, and they actually do well in the scrim.
That's great. That's really good to hear. Well, it's a shame that they are sick. I hope it doesn't deter from their performance too much. What do you make about the 2 different drafts here? Because you've gone for a lot of investing and scaling again. Mammoth really trying to hit you with some early aggression.
That's right, but I don't think that's a big problem for our team. Like, maybe about mechanic and landing phase, I think we are better than them.
So a strong early game to negate what they're trying to achieve in the early game, would you say?
Sorry?
You think your laning phase is that strong that it's going to cancel out everything they're going to try and do?
Nah, not that big, but it can make our more confidence to do some position.
Gotcha.
To make our decision in
Yeah.
the team fight.
Gotcha. Beautiful. All right, Middle. Well, I'm going to leave you to it. Wish you well for the rest of the boys and hope they get well soon as well. And we'll crack on into this first game of week 2.
Thank you. Bye.
I know we've just gone straight to top lane, Skimmy, after that interview, but I low-key still want to look at bottom lane when it hits level 2 because it's a Lucian Nami lane, just because the way that you play for the second wave can influence a lot of it. If you get cocky, you try and get level 2 against them, suddenly Nami's got her E, and you're just too empowered, but top is in a whole lot of trouble.
What has happened here? Thien going to die underneath the turret. He's flushed away, but he's copped one too many turret shots. Can't evade that one that was beamed up and ready to go. It's a 1-for-1, but he got first blood.
Yeah, I mean, it is first blood. It's going to be a teleport used as well by Papryze to catch what he can of that wave also. So all things considered, it is going to be a very nice start for Thien just because of the free reset for himself to walk back to lane. And of course, once we get the scoreboard, we'll see what is able to actually be purchased by him. Nevertheless, a couple of important things here that I want to just caveat our early points in draft from is that while I said there's limited crowd control from Peace, there is, with the exception of the Gravitum weapon from Violet, that is something that will provide them with a whole host of potential crowd control. The reason I bring that up is it was Cleanse as a spell of choice from Voice, which means they're not going to have an Exhaust in the bottom lane. Now, Peace have a lot of those.
Have 2.
They have 2 of those, but Mammoth have 0. So in terms of actual laning strength, the choice of Ignite on a Nami is... I mean, honestly, it is a very Giga Chad decision, I will say, but the risk is incredibly high. Gangplank late game, Aphelios late game, not having an Exhaust, not having a Lulu with a Polymorph, it's just a Nami that doesn't really do shields but empowers damage. That's so risky.
But it does feel very much characteristic of what they were trying to achieve, right? Mammoth really want to get that win in the early portion of the game. If the Ignite secures it for them, fantastic. If the Cleanse allows Voice the uptime to get those double shots in with the passive, then that is fantastic too. Otherwise, Peace are quite comfortable just biding their time, allowing Mammoth to do whatever they like on the map. If they're within touching distance, maybe say 5k buffer, double exhaust late game, happy days.
Yeah, double exhaust late game is going to be wonderful, honestly, for self-sustaining in those team fights, being able to stop the single assassin from getting on top of you. You know, Kayle going in, Lissandra going in, Lucian when empowered as well. Meifan, you saw him a little bit active. He's just going to be up here to make sure this wave crashes. Thien knows he's here, doesn't actually care. He's going to even potentially just try and auto-attack him because he doesn't care. That's the Sheen purchase, right? If you want to contrast the difference now that we have got the items on our screen, a full Sheen for a Gangplank 4 minutes in is game winning.
This is dangerous though. It's taking a long time to try and shove in this wave. That means LeeSA can come up to this wave to try and help out. Give Thien a little bit of protection. Not that Mammoth would have really looked to try and force that fight. Papryze no mana, no ranged form.
Look at Apii.
Very low on
He's got
HP as
Predator.
well. Apii's keen. He's got those boots. The Predator is there. The bubble! He flashes across it! It's a one-man taunt, but the rest of his team weren't there to respond. Gunkrab on a very different page to Violet. He's flashed forward, so there's the polymorph, and Violet's like, well, I'm not there.
I mean, maybe Violet could have flashed as well. That's, like, plain and simple. Apii used his Justice Punch. He used his dash to cover distance, then tried to flash the bubble. Once he flashed the bubble, he had no follow-up crowd control. So, like, yes, you've taunted, but the play's done. I think the fact that Apii committed the flash means everyone in that side of the map should probably just try and flash with him. But look, Gunkrab did. He did the best that he could. He doesn't have Ignite. He has Exhaust. That's probably a part of the difference there.
Sure. But look at Summoner's Bird. I mean, all that's left in that bot lane now is Violet's Flash. Everything else expended to try and either secure the play or disengage from the play and survive to tell the tale. But ultimately, Peace finding their first moment and unable to strike.
But I will say, this is one of those moments where it was forced by Peace. They had an opportunity, it was forced. However, now Reufury gets a chance to move with Meifan for free, because all he really did in response was push the wave and leave. They're going to clear that vision as Gunkrab sweeps through, but they need to be very careful they don't face check. A level 6 Lissandra. It was a nice little glitter lance.
Whole handful of mid lane champions, right, which can stack in that river pixel bush and really be such a great zonal threat. Lissandra, Cassiopeia also springs to mind as well. Very much a reason that Peace weren't too keen to step into that one. And it does mean that Mammoth pick up the first dragon, which is an ocean one at that. Nice little bit of sustain.
Yeah. Slightly different in itemization as well from both mid laners. The choice of the boots rush for a Predator makes sense in Galio's side of the fence here. The fact that he's gone for the Merc Treads rush means it's very difficult for a Lissandra and a Viego where most of their lockdown is actually stuns. So very nice value for Apii to be able to keep priority in mid lane, run around the map. Also just pushing away Reufury from an entire wave was LeeSA there to make sure there was some kind of transaction for the Drake that was secured. Drake exists as a result of the botched play in bottom lane from Peace, but hey, That was them being active and aggressive early. That is a known difference to what we have seen from them before.
Which is really what we wanted to see, right? I mean, if we look at their week 1 performance, there has been a big absence of first bloods, first turrets, first dragons. Even the heralds, they've never gone for the herald. So we're curious to see what it looks like this time around.
This is so curious, Skimmy, what we've been seeing from him the past week. The whole first week, he basically, particularly the first game, spent more time helping laners reset than he did ganking. Just shows bottom there. And I mean, look at Meifan, just gets free information, knows exactly where the LeeSA is because he showed. The thing that we're seeing from Peace is a set play for Herald. So let's be clear here, he may lose a Raptor camp. The cost could be an entire Rift Herald because the bottom lane of Peace have flipped. But it's showing again that LeeSA's not just resetting waves for the sake of it. Everything has a purpose.
And that purpose obviously has been observed here by Mammoth because they are going to show respect and also look to try and match numbers around this portion of the map. We'll be down.
That was a bubble and a Viego W as well here, so the play's just going to simmer as it stands. I like that Mammoth have responded because they kind of want to fight.
Oh, the flash forward, Reufury can guarantee on towards Violet's head. Ah, the hero's justice coming on down. They're going to try and make that grand entrance, but not finding the success that they need. There is the cannon barrage. That makes it a 1-for-1. A lot of assist gold shared around on the team of Peace. But just one moment, a flash burnt by Violet, but the animation already in mid-flight.
Yeah, I don't know if Meifan got CC locked, but he didn't use his ultimate to get out of being an Aphelios and just kind of died. A lot less resistances is not something that'll help you. I like the idea again. I think what Mammoth are doing is fine. They're forcing the play, right? They're being aggressive. They're trying to find early game advantages. LeeSA is half healthy being hit by the Herald. If they face check, they'll see him. He has to leave.
Oh, he really wants this. Oh, he's been hit by the bubble. Oh, no, it's a catch. Oh, no. He smited too early. He's jumped across the wall. He's died.
Did they... No, wait. Did he still get the Herald? Or are they giving it to Meifan?
It's a disaster.
So yeah, they're going to give the Herald actively to Meifan. It's not going to go to any one of the laners. That's nice comms, I will say, from Mammoth to ensure that not only do they steal it, Peace make a counterplay in mid. This is nice. The Galio ultimate, again, something that keeps him alive for just a little bit longer. And while the ult doesn't connect, nor does the E, that was actually played pretty rough by Apii, LeeSA is able to come in and Gunkrab as well to get the work done. And again, if you become the Aphelios, you have less resistances. The LeeSA comes through, suddenly is just able to one-hit you.
Yeah.
Just womps him. But the play kind of ended there. And Peace just assumed the objective was free. And you can tell from body language already, Skimmy, Mammoth are going to fight you.
Of course, I mean, they have to, really. They really want to buy themselves enough time to allow this champion in the top lane, in that Kayle, to find success. To certainly contend with the likes of this GP as well, which has certainly had his number up by a sizable margin, not only in CS, but by a full mythic item.
Yeah, that is a completed Trinity Force too, just the boots. And a couple of little components there from Papryze. So you would say probably has some money in the pockets, but is definitely struggling in stark contrast to that of Thien, who is not only a Gangplank, who has a strong laning phase, got the first blood, you know, was able to crash a wave, is at 80 CS at 10 minutes, also has the bonus gold because he's a Gangplank, and that snowballs out of control very quickly.
Big force here by Mammoth. They've even got Reufury chilling in the river, guaranteeing that there's no flank angle that could be poised at here by LeeSA, who's going to reveal himself just going straight for it. That's 2 plates claimed as easy as you like. Instant injection of gold to try and break the deadlock here in this bot lane, despite Voice having that 1-kill lead. Crash this wave. And then look to spend it up.
It's just going to be a reset. Thien going to get some plates top lane. There's no need for Peace to do anything bot lane other than respond. That's literally just 2 free plates for top in transaction for the 2 from a Herald summon bottom. Reufury has ult.
Frozen Tomb is there. Oh, he can't use the claw to disengage away. That's great timing. A little bit of greed, though, however, by Reufury. He's going to self-ult to buy time. 2.5 seconds. He wants more. He needs more. He's going to find Meifan, but it's little too late.
Yeah, gets caught with the claw. LeeSA is just going to walk this one out. Has got LEG nearby, but Apii, I think, as a 2v2 is just going to be a little bit too strong. Voice now slowed down. It was a Gravitum that could have potentially connected there if Violet hit that Q. It does mean that Voice is at the very least going to be able to walk away without having to use a cleanser, a summoner spell. Peace now just winning across the board.
Yeah, it was great timing as well, wasn't it? The fact that Reufury had no flash, the claws interrupted with that taunt, and the sequence of events there. Certainly desirable now for Peace that are going to claim the second dragon on their terms. No contest whatsoever.
equalizing the Drakes is really nice. I think for Mammoth, they'll be lucky, very happy that they did get that first one so early, right? It means there's no immediate win conditions that do exist. Violet, they have vision of LEG recalling.
He's looking for it. He's at the ultimate. The Gravitum is there. The 90% slow. Ooh, instant flash. Not taking any chances at all as LEG, our latest LCO debutant.
Did Violet just not activate his Gravitum
It didn't look like it did
at all? Like he just let him walk away? I feel like he has enough mana. Top.
Looking for it, looking for the kill underneath the turret. 2 turret shots, all ramped up and ready to go. He's so low. Has some vitamin C, feels okay. But is certainly wishing he got that kill.
Papryze with ultimate, so really that was Thien trying to force the ultimate out. The flash was available also, but Thien no ultimate of his own means there's not going to be a guaranteed lethal. It's all about the damage. This is going to be seen. Thien's not even going to let it be seen until right now and just gets to hide out of vision. What, of course, we're not seeing on the God vision is that Thien's trying to avoid being seen here. So as far as Mammoth are concerned, he's not there. Till now. I don't know if he has oranges for a couple of seconds. I don't know if they know that. He does now.
Cancel that recall. Papryze really trying to bait this one. LeeSA and Meifan going to collide. 2 junglers rock up and say hello. Meifan on the flank. The dash in, the Everfrost to guarantee the stun, the CC, and just pure destruction. It's a shutdown and a play that took a while, but worked out.
You need a few too many oranges to be able to get out of a Lissandra with Everfrost. Bottom, a tidal wave comes out. I think it's
it really does, doesn't it?
Just secures safe passage.
Trades at the culling there.
Pulls a bit of a Moses to ensure they're able to get themselves
Yeah, go left and right. Get your dancing shoes on, but not going to find anything that they need. Still Peace feeling very comfortable, especially with the weapon set that Violet has now. It's to crash that one and stay topped up and healthy.
It was a shutdown, I believe, as well onto Thien, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So, I mean, it's worth waiting. It is worth the patience. It is odd to me, and I wasn't paying attention too much to it, of where Apii was. You know, why was it a Galio ult to respond? It feels like it makes sense when you've seen the Lissandra for upwards of 15 seconds in an area that he'd be hovering. So that one is a bit odd.
Just shy there is LEG on that bubble. But Mammoth are keeping it close, right? I mean, the game has certainly never been much further than 500 gold ahead for Peace. As it shows right now, it's only now just starting to hit that 1k margin. A lot of patience, and it's certainly paid off as Papryze will forgo the mythic item just yet. Almost the Nash's Tooth. Empower all that on-hit damage. Level 11 comes across, and you're starting to feel pretty good about yourself.
Extra laning strength, of course, comes from rushing the Nash's Tooth. You can choose to go towards your mythic second or third. I think normally it will just be second. But still is farming, right? Only 10 CS down, all things considered. You can't really complain. Peace, you know, being able to break the first turret in bot lane is quite large, given that they feel like they've been on the back foot just a little bit more.
Yeah.
A lot of map flips and movements towards Herald have kind of caused a bit of disarray in how the towers were and how the waves have been set up. But overall, Violet and Gunkrab still feeling solid down here. Mammoth now, I do feel like are starting to get a bit more active with ultimates on both Reufury and Meifan to try and get those picks, and they really do need to get those picks.
Certainly do. That's what those champion kits are designed to do. But Peace having given up the second Herald, first obviously being used in that bottom lane against them. Peace will look to use the remainder of those chakrams to shred through not one, but putting in a fair chunk of damage into the second one. Look to assert themselves a fair degree of vision control in this lower portion of the map.
It is interesting as well that it's not going to be Merc Treads for Thien. I do feel like there's enough magic damage in his lane as well as stuns from both ganking parties that it could have been viable. But I guess, you know, with the boots at Lucidity, the extra cooldown for Gangplank is really nice. And he has the oranges to get out of one of those champions, you would say. Like, there is still logic there, but yeah. It is one of those games where maybe you just say, you know, I can go Merc Treads here. Just become unkillable. Oh.
Gunkrab with those spidey senses, feeling that something was looking a little bit suspicious in the area. Both bot lanes now planted in the mid. Looking to wrestle some control as that third dragon of the game spawns in just shy of 20 seconds now.
So one difference between both teams right now is not only is the Herald going to be summoned mid, you've actually got Kayle walking towards mid off reset. So if Peace were to try and force a fight now off perhaps a Q from LeeSA like that, it could actually get baited in with Papryze hovering with his ultimate on the Kayle. He would be at the fight as it starts. However, I don't think Thien cares at all. At this point, he would have said, Kayle's not here. Like, he's obviously hiding in fog of war somewhere because I've just broken an entire turret top lane.
Yeah,
Peace has no need to fight.
Nah, not phased whatsoever. A concern potentially over the fact that his TP was down on cooldown, but it's back up now. Second Drake, or the third Drake, going to bake Mammoth's count. Total 2 on this occasion is good in theory, but the price is so high. I mean, Pisa basically said, you can do whatever you like. We're just going to claim every structure this map has to offer.
So one thing that I do like from Mammoth there is what the idea was, right? Like, in your mind, that is a good strategy to have someone there without the need to teleport because you're at the play immediately. That's extra seconds with a Kayle on the board, you know, post level 11 dealing damage in a skirmish. That's time that the Kayle will be stacking up her passive. That's a lot of damage on the Papryze.
That really hurts. And just no answer back.
Yeah, but again, speaking of no answer back, there's no answer to the Gangplank top lane. The wave wasn't set up to do that play. It was a reset, what felt like to flip the map, but then no one was actually dealing with top lane. So while in theory, perhaps the play is nice, the setup wasn't there to execute. And it's easy for Peace to do the best possible play, which is nothing, and win from that.
It's a misread that piece of, as you said, taken full advantage of, right? They find themselves now starting to create some daylight between them, get themselves into what is now a 3K gold bounty advantage, which is quite a nice place to be. We've said that both of their games have been all about the swing around 29-30 minutes. Whether or not the game goes that long, we'll have to wait and see. Definitely two champions in particular in the top lane that want it to go to that part of the game.
And that was all for a Cloud Drake for Mammoth. That really provides nothing. It's not a soul point for them. It doesn't actually give them anything meaningful just yet. I do think a lot of this game hinges on the next big skirmish. But in terms of objectives to skirmish over, starting to become limited. Again, you've got another Drake in 3 minutes that's just a Cloud Drake outright. No soul threatening, anything like that. No need to fight, I think is the main point that I want to make there. Peace can be very happy in just sitting in side lanes and farming. Mammoth have outer turrets to take. I think that is the one big difference on the map right now. So being able to set up it with side lane pressure from a Kayle is important for them to try and actually break a structure to get some extra money.
Map bounties, however, haven't come into effect just yet. There is one bounty on a champion, that is Violet's Aphelios, so certainly one to keep your eye on.
Everyone's farming so well, right? Like, 80 carries both farmed out of their minds. They're on the clock. So while there is a bounty on Violet, I think most of that's turret plates, not even the CS, because they got their full turret in bottom lane. Gangplank must be pretty close to having a bounty as well.
Meifan's being called out, spotting, going for that vision, spawning the zombie ward. Destroyed in a heartbeat. It really is all about Peace making that first move. And just seeing, testing the water. How will Mammoth answer back?
Both of these champions are just so happy to farm that it's no surprise that that's what we're going to see.
They really are just playing their own game, right?
Teleport out because there's... Ooh.
He's trying to disengage away. The cannon barrage, the lethal. It's not there. Not enough time, not enough ramp. Apii was literally millimeters away.
I don't know if he saw the teleport, but if he did, that's incredibly fast reactions from the Kayle. So Papryze, either the team was ready or they saw him teleporting or finger on the trigger. Just barely survives. Kudos to him, but again, no teleport means that there's so much more global threat from Peace in general with the teleport being available, though the Gangplank ultimate is not. Galio also with the ult can sit in side lanes if it's a close fight.
Certainly consideration, given that Thien has been really allowed to do whatever he likes in these last 5 minutes. Once again, starting to pull ahead with a significant CS advantage. There is the Rift Maker, as you mentioned before, the mythic item of choice. One that really does come into its own with all the Omni-Vamp, all the percentage damage, all that true damage, which really is the theme of this patch. And a chance for us to start, I guess, answering a lot of questions as to why is Kayle back in the meta.
I mean, that free scaling, you've seen it. Hard pressured tower goes down, he's still got those 2 items, so we are definitely going to get to a point where the Kayle can exist at full power. I do feel like Peace will take this fight. They've got a Gangplank who is level 13, so Keg's ready to go. 2 full items and a Last Whisper there for good measure. I don't think they need to shy away from this skirmish, and I have a suspicion that Mammoth will end up face-checking to make a fight happen.
Cannon barrage about 15 to 20 seconds away. They can certainly take their time here. Just looking to control that mid lane once again is Violet, uncontested, under 0 pressure as the rest of his team look to try and play goalkeeper in the river, cutting off any kind of angle. But we'll eventually be bullied away from that one, still buying more time for that cannon barrage to come on down. You're looking in the bot lane, waves pressed, ready to group up with the rest of the team, waiting for that dragon. Up in 10 seconds now.
Voice gets red buff as well. This mid wave should just be insta-cleared by both teams as best they can. LeeSA consistently conceding the mid lane priority.
Look at it
Taunt's
go.
on.
GP's on the flank. He's looking for it. The taunt onto Apii, not the target you're after. Everfrost connects onto Reufury, who hits the claw a little bit too late because Apii's already gone. Burnt his flash early. The tidal wave onto Voice! He has just been collected by Violet. And that's a huge blow.
I mean, Voice is playing away from the rest of his team. He just wasn't even nearby. They're looking for river control. Taunts on.
They really want to force this fight. A great stopwatch there from Apii, in a lot of trouble right now, buying as much time as he can. Reufury flashing on forward, looks to try and take out Gunkrab. Secures it, kills him, takes him out. There comes the crash on down onto Meifan, who's not been able to find it. Papryze, a beautiful ultimate to buy enough time for his team. He's got the uptime, he's got the damage. He will run these members down. He's found himself a second. That's another shutdown, takes down his lane counterpart. Nari rocks up to their third dragon with a scoreline of 4-1-1.
I'm starting to see a Kayle come online here. Mammoth, they'll win the team fight, and that was with no AD carry in the fight.
Wow.
They will win the team fight. That'll secure them the Drake. That is Cloud Soul point unless LeeSA pulls something out in the next couple of seconds. He's going to stop his own recall. Reufury is just throwing spells over the wall.
Oh, LeeSA's on. He wants it. He jumped across the wall. He's just been absolutely abused.
That's just not the play. I don't know what his vision... I swear he had vision. He knew what he was doing.
He did.
Papryze just flashes.
He kind of just said, why are you here? Why are you trying to take this 2v1? Let's run it back with this clip initially, though.
Yeah, so Voice is looking to make a play in mid. That dash, I mean, looking for lethal there is just not playing with the rest of your team, right? Like, the idea is there. Maybe you get cheeky Gunkrab without ultimate or without reaction, sure, but the rest of his team was making a play. Nevertheless, we've now got a 500 gold shutdown bounty on a Kayle. Kayle is well and truly online here. We're going to be saying that champion's name a lot because it all depends on the Kayle. Baron already at 3k.
Yeah, and LeeSA's still in base. There's no chance for him to try and smite steal this one. It is an easy concede. Mammoth, 3 Drakes to their name. And now we're Baron at the 24-minute mark in a game where it looked just so doomed in that last skirmish. He fought no AD carry. What's it to do? Well, Papryze has come across and said, well, 5 kills. It's time to play.
And suffice to say that Aphelios Lulu does still scale into the game, but nothing scales like Kayle. Besides a couple of other very specific champions, you know, Cassidy in his own way, for example. Level 15. I think everyone's just kind of counting on the doomsday clock if you're a Peace fan. One more level until it becomes really difficult. Things that are important. No flash for everyone on Mammoth right now. If you could make picks, now's a great time to do it. One keg can win a game.
But he could.
There's one.
And they're looking for it, aren't they? On the flank, on the angle, catching out Reufury. There's the kick across the wall. If you weren't going to flash, well, you're guaranteed dead this time. Thien picks himself up another one. And that's a great chance for him to try and put some map pressure down in a 5v4.
Papryze is going to teleport towards top lane. Has got the hover from the rest of his team right now. Mid lane, inner turret also about to be pressured. I don't know if they'll be able to hit that one. But they're going to get a lot of damage, at the very least, onto all of these inner turrets as a transaction. They make the death of Reufury worth it.
Yeah.
It is a full turret top as well. And this is Kayle by himself. Papryze is tick 16, fights on.
The fight's breaking out by the Raptors. Look at the LEG. He's been taken on down. The Chuckums are doing work. The ultimate was committed, and the kill was found. It's only one. They have lost a turret, but they've equalized at bot side with Thien putting in work there. So the Baron, you would say, is a success, and Peace are just picking at scraps.
Yeah, you would say a lot of picks here that Mammoth wouldn't be happy to be giving away, all things considered. It's something that Peace are getting in trade, but it's the smallest of margins that are enabling this trade to happen, right? Mammoth are still getting everything that they're after. And a lot of breakpoints here are going to be around summoner spell timings, item breakpoints as well. Third item done for top lane here. Third item on the way, perhaps for the Lucian as well. Shouldn't be too far away. We are basically, in my mind, going to see a team fight between both top laners, and how they play it essentially determines the team fight, because they just have so many items. You've got Engage from Apii, right, with the Lulu to follow that up. You do have carry potential from Violet and Voice if left unattended. Right, weapons can 1v9. But how these top laners play, right, a good Kayle ultimate could win, a good Gangplank keg could just win. Eyes on both of them.
Voice also then going for the very explosive build as well with the Collector himself as opposed to the Essence Reaver, so he really wants to try and get the ball rolling. And certainly could look to try and snipe some members down, but has been baited out in the past by the wild growth off that Lulu. But you are seeing now 3 items complete for the Kayle. Same to be said here. Now 4 for this GP. It really is a battle between these two heavyweights who hold the majority of the gold
Yeah.
in this game.
3,000 gold above anyone else, or about 2,000 now, of course, as Violet starts to creep up. Just so far ahead in items. Zonya's on the way, actually, from Papryze. I don't know if he's used a stopwatch yet in the game, but he's chosen to go for a full Seeker's Arm Guard before completing a stopwatch, if that is true. It's a bit how you're going with a really important team fight coming up in a minute, so hopefully he can get back to base with enough money for one.
And he believes in himself. I saw a cloth farmer come out next minute, the arm guards instead.
Big thing here as well is every flash timer is basically around the Drake. There is going to be Papryze who's a little bit later just as a result of the end fight after the Drake was secured, but pretty much everybody has summoners for the Drake fights. We will be rinsing and repeating. We will have a 5v5 once again. Peace really want to set up first, just to be clear. So the fact that they don't have priority in mid makes it a lot harder for them to engage the skirmish because you don't have a Gangplank set up in a bush.
Yeah, you want the surprise factor, you want the barrels, you want the kegs locked on down, you face check, you're just dead. Soul point on the cards here for Mammoth.
Taunt does connect.
One man taunt to Meifan is at the target there after the claw goes out. It does not get collected upon. Reufury deciding against it in the end. The tidal wave burnt early as well from LEG.
I mean, Nami and Kayle both have heals between them.
Looking for the one-man peg onto Papryze. Looking to try and full set that off with the flash on forward there from Reufury. He's been exhausted. He's been condemned. They've got the divine interjection with the immunity, the invulnerability, disengage away. Gunkrab shredded. They have just found the bot lane of peace and made them boom.
Yeah, this Kayle Viego combo is absolutely nasty. He just gets to dive in with no regard for his own life. Papryze will keep him alive. And no Galio kiting is going to make a difference. It really is all about what kind of damage can exist, and Violet's struggling to get it down. Thien just not finding the keg that they really need. That is going to be the Cloud Soul secured. I don't think this is a game-winning soul, but it's super nice to have.
Certainly is. A lot of movement speed. And a lot of chances for you to really run these key targets down. Very close as Papryze now to the max level in this game. And I don't want to say it feels disingenuous to say it really is Papryze against the world, but it certainly does feel like that. You look at the score sheet, you look at just how close this game has been in terms of gold. And now Mammoth with a gold lead, feeling very confident, 29 minutes in.
Mate, the Armored Papton's going off. Can't be stopped. Definitely putting in a good case for himself for his first game into the LCO. For a player that has played professionally before, it's very nice to see.
And it's just funny to me, right, because this is almost like a homecoming for him. His last game was in OPL 2020 Split 2 with the likes of LeeSA, Apii, Violet, Gunkrab on his team for Avant 2020, right? So it's almost a case of like, I'm back, here I am, don't you wish I was on your team?
Did you miss me? I don't think they're upset because they have Thien as their top laner, but I get what you're saying.
False narratives, isn't it?
Yeah. Just shove the narrative in there.
Why not?
Peace after this game, it's like, oh no, I miss him.
Well, if they floundered on that Dragon attempt, can they find themselves into a position where they can set up, as you mentioned before there, Rusty, for this Baron? First one went to Mammoth. They've got all those power spikes. Next big siege for them, that's inhibitors.
I think what we're looking at right now is that Mammoth are actually committing themselves a little bit more to side lane. They're able to pressure right now because the Kayle is missing on the map. So in about 10 seconds, you'll probably see Peace start to press the attack a little bit more. Kayle's going to show bottom right now. Peace now have the numbers advantage. Meifan is currently illegal.
Oh no, Meifan, he's been caught out on his own. Here's the kick! Goes a great ultimate for the invulnerability clips. He can't be hit. The wave to disengage the Everfrost. I don't believe Meifan. What am I seeing? The greatest bait in history. The resets are there. The double kill for Voice. The kills are being found. Peace. They thought they had a 1v5 collapse. And it is an absolute disaster.
Voice just trying to be a hero again. Goes for a 1v9. Teleport going to be used to get himself out safely is Thien. But the Baron is secured. The teleport comes through from the Kayle. And the numbers advantage that they had that could have been to assert vision, maybe for a pick on Meifan, ends up becoming just a goose chase towards the rest of the team. And this comes back to, I think, the draft conversation we had, Skimmy. The lack of real engage, right? The need for a flank from Apii to find something has been diffused more than once by LEG. So while we've been talking about Papryze, note this tidal wave just stops completely, right? Actually buys time for Meifan to kill the Galio, gets the reset. The flank instantly dies, means it's not a good flank. Not into a reset composition, which is what the Viego provides. So time and again, they're able to find these opportunities. And Voice does time and again find opportunities to die away from his team.
Very keen, bloodthirsty, and eager to impress. But ultimately, twice now, caught out of position and caught trying to be the hero when it doesn't really fall upon him at this point in the game, right? 32 minutes in, you're not really saying that Lucian is your breadwinner.
And my man's just needs to coast, and he's trying too hard to make tricks.
But that was such a beautiful engage, right, between the likes of Meifan and LEG, just to say, you're not walking any further.
I would say at this point as well, we are on the precipice of Mammoth getting their first win in this split against Peace. Against a Peace that haven't been great. Not to the standard that we hold them to. If ever there was a time to pounce, right, get that first upset of the season. It's the reinvigorated Mammoth roster against the reeling Peace squad.
What a result this would be. Certainly would be an upset that would upset obviously all our predictions, but certainly start to say that this is Mammoth at full force, really taking advantage of some of the concerns that we raised with Peace before.
That may upset our predictions for the day, but who had Mammoth as 5th in their power ranking?
I don't know about that one. Don't know about that one, mate.
Is that me?
I did actually post my power rankings earlier today. I think last split one only got 1 correct. So I'm not qualified to talk about that anymore.
Any Mammoth believers in chat?
What a game. What a story we have here. 33 minutes in. Second Baron. Point. LeeSA's gone for the flash kick. Oh no. If he hasn't broken his ankles, he's certainly broken his mental with that one. Violent are going to try and take a 1v1 underneath that mid inner.
There's no way, man. He's 4 levels down. He can't 1v1. It probably needs 3 people. Papryze probably needs 3 people. LeeSA with no kick means it is almost doomed. That was a flash ender kick. LeeSA has nothing left to provide. No Guardian Angel either.
This is a tragedy. The fight is on. The fight breaks out, and it's all on for this last play. Heroes Entrance to try and buy some mitigation. They need more than mitigation. They need a hope and a dream and a chance to find a way back to restart this one all over. A double kill now for Voice. The rest of the team are playing clean sweep as another shutdown comes to Papryze. He didn't even burn his ult. That's how strong they are.
Yeah, he's able to just walk it out, heal off the minions. This looks like it could just be game for Mammoth.
It's looking like that. What a result this would be. First turret goes on down, working away towards that second one, on towards the Nexus itself. 34 minutes in, they say Peace. You take it to the late game, but this time, scaling ain't your friend.
Huge performance from Mammoth. I feel like across the board that was much improved from them. It shows again, it does go to show that they've been practicing with this new roster. And this is the first time we've really seen it in effect. A bit of elation there from the squad as well. And I know we spent a lot of time talking about Papryze and what he's provided to the squad. I also want to give a quick shout out to LEG, who felt solid in his first game in professional as well. Did exactly what was needed from him. I think the tidal waves were fantastic, and this Mammoth seems like a threat.
They certainly do. That's the first time across 8 games. Well, this is their 9th. First time Mammoth have ever beaten Peace. Huge.
So close to going for that underdog pick today. I was like, oh, Peace didn't play that well last week. You know, Mammoth, I could taste an upset, but I didn't go for it. Now I'm real sad. But at the same time, what a game, hey? Upsets starting early. It's week 2. We were just talking all through the pre-show about how upsets probably aren't going to happen as much in the meta we're currently in. And then have a look at that. Kayle gets picked. Papryze scales out of existence, and that was just ridiculous. Kitty, talk to me about how Violet was just getting shut down that game.
If you guys were focusing on Reufury, I think he was the unsung hero for Mammoth because he was playing the main engage for that team comp of Mammoth, where he was eing in as the Lissandra and providing so much zone and CC onto that Aphelios, where Violet couldn't do anything. And I believe Lulu only had a Kayle at the very end of the game, and there was no cleanse available for a piece as well, so it was a really tough game for Violet.
True.
There was a lot going on, especially in those team fights, that one around Baron as well, where it looked like the 1v5. There was a clutch Nami wave coming through from LEG. It stopped the kick coming from LeeSA, which enabled, who was it, Meifan to survive that little bit longer. TP straight into the middle. So many great team fights. This one, you look at the position in a piece and you think it should have worked. The fact that Thien just came that little bit late, couldn't get barrel damage off, couldn't get any picks initially. He ended up having the most damage in the fight, and I think that was just purely from his ultimate being there. Everyone else was just sort of like suffocated out of those positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a joy when you get to see Lissandra and Viego pop off together, right? Because Viego gets to claim your souls whilst, you know, Lissandra spawns souls. So between the two of them as a mid-jungle, it's basically like, if we win really, really hard. And I think you hit the nail on the head, right? They really just pounced upon Violet and said, you've gone for double exhaust. You don't really have the most reliable tools, as Rusty mentioned. So yes, you can exhaust us, but you can't cleanse. If the Crucible's too late, then it just hit that point of no return, and what a result. I mean, Ali G, booyakasha.
Bringing that one in nice and early. I was surprised, right? Like, I was watching at like the 22-minute mark. There was only 7 kills in total. I thought there would have been a lot more skirmishing, you know, a lot more sort of messy fights going on throughout the game. But Mammoth knew their win cons, played to it. And it seems that this new look Mammoth is, well, here to bloody play, right? That is a big win to get. And we've had a few times now where Mammoth have caused a couple of upsets in the LCO, and they're starting early yet again here in Split 2, Rusty.
Yeah, they're looking off that game alone very good, but I will say, like, full credit to Mammoth. They played well. Peace have also been a team that haven't been looking their best either. So in terms of sample sizes, I don't know how much faith I put in Mammoth yet. Yeah. I just think that is the good first step on a long journey towards being in play.
We don't want to curse them like last split, right? When they got that huge win against Pentanet, and then it was just like almost like elation into like, hang on a minute, why aren't we winning anymore? So we'll hold our horses for the meantime.
Look, Peace started really, really strong last split, but look, Mammoth have a new player, and we get to have a quick chin wag with them as well. We got Papryze on the line. Mate, how's it feel to come on into the LCO and start with a win?
I mean, I think my win rate is substantially higher than my OPL one. 20%, not that good. 100%, that's pretty nice.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. The first 100% win rate player we have this split. Okay, well, wait, no. A lot of the teams...
Wait, second, LEG, my
yeah,
boy.
LEG, I forgot about... I'm so sorry, LEG. Well, let's talk about that game you guys just had. We saw the Kayle as a response to the Gangplank where you ended 7-1. So tell me about that counter pick.
I don't know. I was told it was good, so I've griefed solo queue repeatedly with it. I mean, it works.
Well, it's pretty solid, pretty solid. How are you enjoying the meta at the moment? Do you think that was kind of the key to success today, just playing for scaling? And do you think
no, this meta sucks, man.
It sucks?
Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, it sucks. Top lane is so boring. There's only 5 champs that are good. They all suck. You do nothing for 20 minutes and then you win or lose a game.
Well,
that is true.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah,
look, 12.11 is not too far around the corner, so hopefully something will change up there. Anyway, look, playing with the new roster, in comparison to who you played with before, this one's a whole bunch of youngsters. Are you enjoying sort of the feel of the team?
Very much, yeah. It's very weird to be the oldest in the group because in OPL I was often the youngest or second youngest, but now I'm the oldest. It just happens.
That's it. Time goes on. Time goes on. Well, we'll let you go and bask in the glory of that big fat dub, and we will see you tomorrow, maybe, if you can pull it off again.
Thank you.
See you later. So that's a great way to start your bloody LCO affairs, right? Coming back. Now, as he mentioned, just being the old one in the group, sort of bit of a leader, I guess, even though I don't know if he's doing too much of the calling. They already sort of had that established before, but he'd have a lot of experience to sort of bring into that roster, Rusty.
He'd also just be chill, which is nice. In some teams, they just need someone to relax. Like there are a lot of psycho gamers that are young and just want to yell at everything, and sometimes it's nice to have a top lane just be like, it's cool, man. Like, I'm just doing my thing. Like, focus everywhere else. I'll be good.
Just doing his thing. And look, he certainly did his thing all the way to the Dare MVP, because that's what he has won with his performance here. Oh, couple of quick shuckers there. What's going on? This man, he's getting lit with it from that media day, but also 7-1-5 with 70% KP. 34% of the damage as well. This man was just teleporting into the middle of fights, Kitty, and doing work.
I feel like they just beat Peace at their game, because Peace's entire thing was scaling into late game, and what scales harder than a Kayle? And Papryze did just that, being 7-1.
And look, even though there's only 5 champs to choose from in the top lane right now, he still made it look really fun, really good. I guess it was, really slow throughout that early mid game, just making sure he didn't feed, didn't go too hard, didn't get caught out of position, and that's just what you got to do when you want to play one of these scaling champs. But we have more LCO on the menu, of course, here, delivered by Menulog, and there is a second game to get to. So to get there, we've got to go to a break, ladies and gents. After it, though, it is going to be one you might have been waiting for. Order up against PGG just after this.
Oh no, Meifan, he's been caught out on his own. It's the kick! Gosh, a great ultimate for the invulnerability clips. He can't be hit. The wave to disengage the Everfrost. I don't believe Meifan. What am I seeing? The greatest bait in history. The resets are there. The double kill for Voice. The kills are being found. Peace. They thought they had a 1v5 collapse, and it is an absolute disaster. Voice.
Hey, look, menu pong.
I think
So no, it's like fun to like slow the game down, just focus on CSing and just getting very fed off 10 CS a minute.
Very good.
Well, thank you, Dajong. Well, we just did like a Spider-Man like pointing at each other. Well, thank you for the interview, Dajong. I'm gonna let you go and have you prepare for your game.
All right, thank you. See you guys.
Yeah, man.
See you later. So back on track, the old these ones, you know, beautiful.